It's not particularly amazing, this phone. It's actually pretty normal. The Redmi Go has 5-inch screen, Snapdragon processor, 3000 milliamp battery, and 8 megapixel rear camera, so that's not anything to write home about, really. And it's pretty small compared to standard smartphones. This is the Z5 by Asus. Doesn't have a fingerprint sensor. It has a plastic back. It's not removable. Has one flash package. It does have dual SIM and a slot for a micro SD card. And that's actually pretty cool because, I mean, a lot of expensive phones don't even have slots for all three. A lot of phones will actually utilize their second slot as either a second SIM card or a SD card, but this one actually has, well, all three of them. It is a global version, so I guess that's why. It's meant for people that have multiple plans and different bands all over the world. And to its credit, this does have a lot of bands. Now, knowing and hearing everything I just had to say, I mean, doesn't seem spectacular, but that's until you hear the price. It's around $65 US, and that in and of itself is amazing. It's about $100 in some markets, but this is catered towards companies that are either on the up and coming or don't have the ability to buy $2,300 iPhone XS, highest gigabyte capacity phones. They don't have that ability, so they buy things like this that are priced well, that perform well, and, well, basically a very good all-around package. You do have a single speaker at the bottom, USB port, microphone, all the usual things you expect from a phone. Now, knowing this was a Xiaomi, I would have expected a couple more Mi apps that we've seen on previous models, but this one only really comes with Mi Drop as preloaded, which is basically to send and receive files and share and whatnot. But that's really it when it comes to preloaded apps from their own respective brand. Now, you'll notice that a couple things to set this aside is out of the box, they come with lightweight apps. Google Assistant Go, Google Go for, browser, and Gmail Go, and Maps Go. I didn't notice the Maps Go till right now. Yeah, so they actually come with a lot of things that are very lightweight. And why they do that is because this phone doesn't have a very large battery. It doesn't have extremely large processing speeds that are capable of running the full-fledged app. So they actually put the they actually put the light version. In the light version, we actually touched on this a while back in regards to light apps on e-readers and stuff. So some budget phones are doing that as well. We'll start with PDFs. The colors come through all right, but the screen is rather small. And in the past couple years of using smartphones, everyone's gotten used to bigger screens, no bezels, no notches, no interruptions, nothing on the side. I mean, going back to something like this, if you have used a bigger smartphone, you're going to feel a little bit restricted in the fact that there isn't a lot of screen real estate on a smaller phone. But that aside, it is fast. It doesn't exactly lag. There's a little bit of delay when you're doing quick swipes like that. It does have pinch and zoom, and it does render very quickly. Once again, colors aren't the greatest, but that's because we're not dealing with the highest of screen qualities here. We're, of course, using the audiobook reader app by Goody Reader, the one we made ourselves. And you can see that scrolling is probably the way you'd really want to go on a smartphone, only because people usually, on smartphones when they read, they just slowly scroll like this, is what I've seen at least. And we've conducted polls whether scrolling was more preferred or left and right page turns were more preferred. Of course, you could change those based on the app that you're using. We'll use this opportunity to crank the volume and listen to the audiobook capabilities of reading on this smartphone.
Tom, what is the matter? I forgive you everything, Sid. Grown, everything you've ever done to me. When I'm gone. Oh, Tom, you ain't dying, are you? Don't, Tom. Oh, don't.
So, the Audio is fine. It's nothing spectacular. We're not dealing with Dolby technology or a pair of speakers that are either opposing on the bezel or even stereo speakers of any kind at all. But, you know, it's, again, the price is the price. The camera performs well and has very similar color schemes to the item that you're actually taking a picture of. There's a little bit of that motion lag. It doesn't do amazing in low light, but overall, it's not bad for an 8 megapixel camera on a $65 phone. You didn't come here for a phone review, and yes, we're reaching by putting an ebook and a PDF on this, and we know that. We just do this because, well, one, it's our job, and two, we really appreciate when companies like Xiaomi and Amazon and Sony and Barnes & Noble and all these guys send us samples, and it's our duty to do the best we can to send you videos and do as much coverage as possible. This phone, above all, you have to focus on the price. You can't battle with specs, you can't compare numbers, you can't measure this phone by how powerful it is, because that's not what it's made to be. That's not what it's for. It's to be bargain, it's to be an amazing value, and it's to be catered towards countries that don't have the luxury of us being able to get an amazingly expensive phone on some sort of expensive contract. So this is what this phone is for, and this is what you would buy this phone for. And if you have any other questions, let us know.